Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper episode Flux. So, the last episode, we managed to go ahead and start the new DLC. We managed to get some water going, and we also got some algae to help the refugees with their food supply. So, now the last thing we need to do is help out up here, trying to find a proper way to get out of here through the quarantine block. So, yeah, it was also kind of fun starting this back up because it crashed at least 3 or 4 times. Cross my fingers. Hopefully nothing will happen and this won't crash again, but we'll see. I actually don't know how much longer it's going to be in this DLC because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot more left in it. But, you know, this game has a way of surprising me, so we will see. Let me go ahead and head back down here so we can feed the stray. And also, I guess we can go ahead and get some food too. So that'll work. That is not where you get food. Yeah, right there. That's a little ironic now that I think about it. That we have this stray that we're feeding, and the cat game just came out called Stray. Alright, so let's come over here to our lovely repaired unit that we made. Do I need some scrap? I guess I'll go ahead and use some scrap on myself. Get those couple blocks healed. Yeah, let's go ahead and use one more. Now watch, I'll go ahead and use this scrap, and then I'm going to need 10 scrap at the next turn, perhaps. And let's feed the stray. Alright, so let's go ahead and end this cycle, and then the next cycle we'll go ahead and start on the security stuff. It's not a terrible hand. I've had much worse. So let's see. I think we have +2s in a lot of those areas up there as well. So it shouldn't be too bad. Okay. I kind of do want to do this. Oh, either way, they're having a suspicion to go up. Wonderful. Okay, so maybe we should do this first then, since suspicion won't go up. Okay. So let's do this. It's risky, but let's do it. Okay, and the suspicion didn't go up. Nice. And these will be perfect. It's a little difficult going ahead and using these, but I guess it's fine. Oh, gave me a perfect dice. Okay. Let's use that. And we only need 2 more. Hopefully this will put us in a decent position and we can get at least 1 here. I was expecting that. I knew that was going to happen. Alright, so the next go around we'll have to do a little, well, I guess we could get by because we only have 1 suspicion, so we should be okay. Okay, let's go ahead and eat, feed the stray, and then after that we will go ahead and go to sleep once more. Where is it? Go to emphasis stall. Alright. I think we could have used an action in order to sunbathe, and that'll increase my energy, but it's fine. And let's feed the stray. And end the cycle. I haven't actually checked to see where we are as far as everything goes with the new DLC. Okay, this hand is not great. But again, I can kind of work with this. Shouldn't be too terrible. Let's see. So we're at the halfway point. Yeah, things are about to get a little tight now. Cause where are we at? We're done with the Briar's Hold. Now we just need Peak's plan, and that's 3 parts. Yeah, this is gonna be a little sus. This is going to be just a little sus. Okay, let's go ahead and use that. Come here. And we'll use this one also. That should be perfect. Yep. Alright, cool. So we're done with that. You meet Peak leaning in a corner of the canteen in their typically unassuming way. It occurs to you as you approach that Peak must have had some practice at staying invisible. All good? They look up from their slate. That crew you were talking to, they nod to the group leaving the canteen. Will they join us? They'll do it. Nicely done. Peak beckons for you to follow as they peel off the wall and head out onto the walkway overlooking the cordon. Glad you were here to talk them into it. I never had much of a way with people. Peak smiles and looks away quickly as you walk. You and Eshe seem to do okay. Peak laughs their light and easy laugh. Eshe's not really like other people, which you've probably noticed. If only everyone was like Eshe, they fade off, something drawing their attention. What I mean is, people have caused me a lot of trouble. I've had people hate me without knowing a thing about me. They tuck their hair behind an ear. I'm sure you know the feeling. I do. Pete glances at you. Sorry to hear that. It marks you, am I right? I try not to think about it. Peak nods. Don't let me make that any harder. Peak leads you around a corner, heading back to the main cordon access way. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out on this, Sleeper. On talking to the crew and, well, you know. Maybe after this insane plan is done, we can talk properly. They keep looking ahead, and you realize they are nervous. I'd like that. Peak smiles, looking down at their feet. That's settled then, they say to the floor. I better report the news to Eshe. We have ourselves a tug escort. Peak stops at an intersection. See you soon, Sleeper, and please take care. And with that, they drift away, their head down, their gait changing as they do, their practice invisibility shrouding them like a cape. Okay, so we have that done. Now we just need to get the rest done, correct? Am I correct in that? Yeah, we need the Briar upgrade. And we need sabotage sensors. Alright, so +2 puts me at 4. There's a 25% of a negative outcome happening if I do that. I am actually going to re-roll all 3 of these because it's a 2, a 2, and a 1. And of course, it ends up worse. You gotta love it. So let's go ahead and use this 2 for suspicion. Perhaps. Should I use it for suspicion? The hell with it. I'll just go ahead and use it. This is risky. Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, wonderful. And either way, that's going to cause suspicion. Wonderful. And this one, it will also cause suspicion. Either way. Let's go ahead and use this then. Maybe this will help. Okay. It's in the blind spot. Let's do that once more. Okay. Alright, let's get out of here. And then let's talk about the glory of having it so we can turn around and get security off our back. Hopefully. Okay, that got them down by 1. Let's see. There's nothing else we can do for right now. So let's go ahead, eat, feed the stray, maybe heal ourselves a bit. I think we'll be good for another turn. So yeah, let's just go ahead and eat. And then we'll feed the stray, and then we'll proceed into the next turn. Hopefully the next turn won't be as bad as this one. Stray. It also would have been a little nice if the DLC added a little bit more content for the stray. But, you know, it's fine. Okay. End cycle. Okay, that's better. Much more to work with there. Okay, let's go ahead and head on up. I think, where am I at? So slice thrusters. Ah, this is what I was working on. Okay, so let's go ahead, do this. That's perfect, but it's still going to give me one suspicion. Or not. It's not going to give me suspicion at all. So can we turn around and knock this out this time? Maybe? Oh yeah, that's perfect. So yeah. Okay, so we knocked out the blind spot. Yeah, we've created a blind spot. So yeah, that's good. Peak is waiting for you when you slip out of the operations center, nervously poking at their small slate. Sleeper, they hiss. I followed what you were doing on the network. Incredible work. How do you do that? Yeah, I'm not really sure. Peak smiles. Well, it seems pretty incredible to me. Almost worth being... They stop themselves. Sorry, I didn't mean... Don't worry about it. Peak nods. Sorry. You and Peak quietly slip into the main walkway and work your way back to the public areas of the cordon. Haven't just had to quickly respond to the flotilla's arrival. And that means a lot of contractors and spacers walking through these corridors. You blend in easily enough. I haven't really met a sleeper before, Peak begins. As you might have guessed, they smiled nervously. Hawthorne is an XPR service outpost, and since the collapse, no one came for refueling or repairs anymore. So my generation has never met anyone outside the company. God. We heard about sleepers, they nod in your direction. From the data packets that come through from XPR every once in a while. They usually contain news along with the corporate propaganda, but the reports were light on the details. SNARP have kept the sleeper program pretty quiet anyway, and I think XPR are only interested in telling their employees about it because it made living in our company town look like a good life in comparison to being a piece of corporate property. They froze. Sorry again. I don't mean... They looked down. I'm just not sure how to talk about this stuff. Maybe don't talk about it? It's okay. Peak smiles. I'll shut up about it now. You walk on a little further, the walkway becoming busier. You both relax a little more and go with the flow of people. I just want to say, I think I understand. They begin again. Clearly this has been on their mind. I understand the need to escape, to get free of it all. They laugh at themselves. The structures, the systems, the company horizons in a company town. They stare ahead. The small places, small corridors, small people. They look away. The slow death it brings. That's it. They turn to you. I get why you signed up to be a sleeper, and why you escaped from that too. I will just nod. You try to form words, but you can't. There's altogether too much running through your head. But you look at Peak, and they look at you, and that seems okay for now. You walk in silence again, each of you in their own thoughts, but moving together through space nonetheless. After a while, you come to the entrance to the cordon. where handfuls of workers and crews filter in and out through two huge loading bay doors. Pete stops. Okay, they pause. I'm heading back to the Briar. Once again, incredible work on the sensors. That blind spot you created, that should give us a real advantage. See you soon. They head off, disappearing into the crowd almost immediately, outrunning their own nervousness. Peek is nice. One of the few nice people I've met on this arc. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more turns to go. Let us go ahead. Should I re-roll this? That's gonna be a 4. Let me re-roll that. That's much better. So this should give me enough to actually knock this down by 2. And that'll give us no suspicion going into the next turn. So that'll be much better. Alright, cool. So we have no suspicion going into the next turn. We're in pretty good shape so far. We have 6 turns to go ahead and complete the next one. So we could literally just do it once every turn and still complete it. So pretty good. We're in pretty good shape so far. And that's what I like to see. Alright, so more food. Let's see here. More food, and we will go ahead. I guess. Oh, well, yeah, I do need to use some scrap on myself. So let's go ahead and do that. Man, if I didn't have this little self-repair perk, I would be a lot more screwed than I actually am. So that's actually a pretty good thing to have, especially when you have a lot of scrap. Okay. So that makes my condition stable. Let's feed the stray. And let's end the cycle. And then next turn we should be able to go ahead and knock out the last thing we have to do. Okay, nice dice. That's what I like to see. Okay, coordinate operations. Oh no, the next thing we have to do is hanger. So we have to slice these thrusters. Okay. It's only going to be 1 per turn, but I get a +2 either way. If it's perfect, do I get any suspicion still? I don't. So this should be okay. Because that means this is a perfect, that's a perfect. Okay. This will be a 50 positive, 50 neutral. Okay, that was positive. This will be a 25 positive, 25, 50 neutral, and then a 25 negative. So let me re-roll that. Perfect. That's perfect. All right, so that means next turn I can knock this out. So unless I just have the most shit hand I have ever gotten, I should be able to knock this out next turn. But you know how these things go. I don't think I've ever had a completely terrible hand. I don't think. I could be remembering that wrong, but I don't think I've had like straight ones all the way across. If I did, I'm pretty sure I re-rolled, but don't think I've had that happen. So let's get some food. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Yeah, I can only imagine what this DLC would be like if I didn't have all these perks and stuff. This would be pretty hard. Okay, let's feed the stray. It's in the cycle. I am a little curious on what would happen if you just let the timer run down. Oh, look at that. That's fine. That's perfect. What? Drone. A rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone, its fins adjusting as it hovers in place, floats in the corridor. Hello? The drone shifts a little but does not respond. The drone buzzes closer and a voice gurgles out of its speaker, distorted and strange. Sleeper, come to the corridor. We need to speak. Why? The drone clicks and whirs and the recording starts playing again. Sleeper, come to the corridor. We need to speak. Inspect the drone. You move closer and the drone bops away to a safe distance, but as it does, you see the Ha of Havenich emblazoned on its side. Could these be Fing's drone? Satisfied it has delivered its message, the drone rotates and accelerates away as rapidly as it arrived. You stare at it as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insight that escapes you. To the cordon then. Great! Great! I knew it was too easy. I knew this was too easy. Well, I mean, it's not easy. I just got lucky with having good stuff and some good stats being set up, but yeah, this was going a little too smoothly. So let's see what's going on. Havenage. As you enter the passage that leads through the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye. The drone. It stops to make sure you've seen it, and then flits into a side passage, leading to a set of narrow stairs. You climb up through a dark shaft, the drone stopping at each landing to check you are following. Despite its lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence. After a long climb, you come out onto an observation platform. The cordon and the vast ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. The scale seems impossible, and immediately you feel small and naive for even thinking you could affect this situation. Something shifts nearby. The drone again? Helen, frustrated Havenich counselor. Okay. A woman is stood at the window, at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice. She too seems impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder, and she turns. Sleeper, sorry for all the cloak and dagger nonsense, she nods at the drone, but I've never regretted being cautious. She smiles, a tight smile, and holds out a hand. I'm Helen. Shake her hand. The tight smile holds, but the drone keeps his single eye fixed on you. The effect is a little unnerving. Look, she glances around the empty observation deck as if checking for potential eavesdroppers. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans, and she cuts in before you can respond. I understand your motives. You look at her and her overalls, the yellow markers, the HA sigil. You've been on the eye long enough to recognize a Havenage member when you see them. You're Havenage. Yes, I mean, I expect that is obvious. The tight smile again. I hope you won't hold that against me. She glances around nervously again and moves a little closer. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. She glances back at the flotilla. No one is happy about this. Okay, then release the flotilla. She sighs. How do you think this works? She pauses. Sleeper, tell me something. What does Havenage mean to you? Ardenhurst? A work in progress? A fresh start? She squints at you. That was unfortunate, but you should know it was one of our own who exposed Harden, and that has been dealt with. Havenage is used to being criticized. In some ways, we invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meeting, to propose new structures and approaches. She shifts her weight impatiently. As a counselor, it is my duty to listen to them. That is why I was elected by the members. We are an imperfect system, yes, and each counselor, each member, each representative can be flawed, and worse. She looks down, but we keep this place running. That is what we do. And the non-members? They are paths to membership. Oh, okay, this is going to be great. And we cannot force everyone on the station to join us. What do you expect? We are an association of individuals. We cannot always account for the needs of those outside that structure. She turns and looks out at the flotilla, no matter how much we wish to. Can the Eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is a ruin, Sleeper. What do you think the council discusses? The price of gyro? We make plans to keep this place spinning, to keep life support working, to ensure... Helen's slate chirps, and a grim look passes across her face as she sees the notification. She looks tired, the screen light casting her rigid expression in a pale glow. Sleeper, I didn't bring you here to explain how Havenage works. I came to talk about your plan to cross the cordon, breach the quarantine, and supply the flotilla. She looks directly at you. Stay silent. I don't think this is going to help either way, so let's just stay silent. I know you think you're helping the flotilla, but you cannot do this. Right now, halfway along the ring, one of a countless series of debates are being held. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees of the flotilla are left to enter the station. These debates are at a standstill. Helen walks to the window. Too many in the Havenage Council think of the flotilla as a threat. After recent events, a hardline group has emerged. Protective, selfish. They seek only to benefit the members. In their mind, the flotilla is a danger to life on the Eye. Shocking that there's, a group of protective and selfish individuals in a corporation. I would never guess. If you're caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline councilor's case. I don't think they would care one way or the other. Criminals who stole a ship from XPR undermining the security of the station? She shakes her head. It's exactly what they want. I don't think they care one way or the other, but okay. The refugees need supplies. That's her problem. So what? She looks at you coldly. So what? Sleeper, I'm starting to worry if you know anything about what you're doing here. She sighs deeply. And those ex-XPR spacers you're running with? Sleeper, do you know anything about them? More than I know about you. She looks at you pleadingly. Let's change that, Sleeper. Why do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of colonies and outposts that have survived since Solheim's collapse. We need to be ready for whatever is coming, ready to protect the Eye. I know the Eye means something to you. I know there's a reason you are still here. Help me protect it. Helen fixes you with a strong look. Persuade those spacers that this is the wrong move. They will get caught and the flotilla will be locked down. The Havenage will be delivered into those with the worst instincts. Forget this suicidal supply run with people you barely know. Help me fight for the Eye. I mean, I have no reason to like Havenage at all. They have been shit since the very beginning. So I do think in the very least for this run, I am not going to side with them at all. So I'm just going to stay silent. Helen looks at you, hoping for some kind of response. Don't offer up the excuse the hardliners need to lock the flotilla out altogether. To persuade the members they are the safest pair of hands. She looks at you imploringly. Please. You look back at her, the flotilla behind, and a sense of desperation in her plea. A notification breaks the silence. Shit. She rapidly scrolls through the pages of data. Sleeper, I need to go. She looks torn. Think about this, please. Talk to the spacers. Help them see reason. And she quickly leaves the observation deck before you have time to respond. You stay for a moment, watching the lights of the tugs and the flotilla, and wonder what it feels like to be on one of those ships, so close to your destination and yet so far from it. And then you think of the Havenage Council chamber across the Eye, where the right of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver, and then you too are gone, back into the stairwell and the cold dark below. Interesting. So now we have a choice. I do like that. I do like that they do give you some type of option. even if it is a shitty option. I think I am going to still side with the crew that I've been with so far. Let's go ahead and do this last one. Alright, so we've completed everything we have to do now. Pete grins as you pile the ion thruster sets onto the motorized trolley in a derelict loading bay. I borrowed this from Eshe. I barely know how it works. They seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship's parts from Havenage. I thought you worked for XPR. I did, but not as a repair tech. They help you heave the thrusters into position. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling platforms from totally decaying due to a lack of use. There's a load of platforms in the orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on, and Cinder itself. Eshe and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds like hard work. Are you kidding? Peak smiles. That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. So much better than outpost maintenance or canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Eshe's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne. Huh. And Eshe managed to get my name on the list too. Peck looks for the trolley ignition. Eshe is always saving me. Interesting that Eshe's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne. She didn't mention that. So why is she so rebellious? They find the switch and hit it, and the trolley starts whining. Pig looks at the thrusters. Eshe will install these. The Briar is her baby, really. Pig looks towards the bay exit. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to take it from her mother. Losing a ship. That has to hurt the colony. What is her mother like? Tough. You have to be to keep control of a service outpost with no services to provide. Pig looks away. It's a tough place overall, Hawthorne. And Eshe's mom, she's like it that way. Peak shuffles the trolley out of the bay onto the corridor. They'll manage without the Briar. No choice, Peak smiles. And I have to admit, I'd love to have seen her face when she saw we had gone. Peak pauses. Don't tell Eshe that. They walk on quietly, lost in their memories of Hawthorne. Okay, I think I can manage the rest. Peak brushes their hair out of their face. You've done more than enough this cycle. Peak looks over the thrusters. Once these are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Eshe, Peak laughs. They head off into the corridor, the trolley whining its high-pitched whine. See you soon. Okay, so we have finished everything for them. I guess the only thing we have left to do is just to wait until it's actually time. Which is still, what, 5 turns away? 3 turns away. Yeah, everything's done. So Peak's plan is done, Briar's hold is done. We have 3 turns to rest. And I have things that I was working on, so we can harvest mushrooms. Let's do that. Okay. And I guess we can go ahead and use this one. I'll re-roll this. Not that it necessarily matters. And I got the same exact thing. Wonderful. So that's not that. Okay, so that's done. Collect spores or forage for fungus. I do have quite a bit of spores. I think I'm gonna try that sunbathe option that I have. Never actually used it before, so no time like the present, I guess. And I think I'm still okay on money, so I shouldn't really have to work or anything. It should be fine. Let's see. Let's go up here. And that's safe to do. Okay, so it gave me 1 energy. I'm guessing if I had a better roll, it would have gave me 2, which is fine. So let's go ahead and feed the stray. I don't need the self-repair just yet. I don't think there's anything else I really need to do for the moment. Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and head with this. Okay. Am I going to be getting contacted left and right each turn now? Oh, that is a great set of dice. Okay. Sleeper. Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different. Pale. Drawn out. You need to come up to the briar now. They don't meet your eye. What happened? Not here, Peak hisses. Come to the ship. We'll be waiting. Peak walks away. Don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. Oh, well, this isn't great. Let me go ahead and eat now. That way I don't have to worry about this later. That's +3, right? Okay. So that means I have pretty much a complete set of perfect dice. Always good to have. And let's see what's up with them. As you walk into the Climbing Briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Eshe is waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open with its insides scattered across the top of a heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognize. Helen's drone. You freeze. Come in, quick. Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces, some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Eshe looks up from the dissection. Oh crap, is it gonna see the part where I shook her hand? Is she gonna think the wrong thing? Ah, shit. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA sigil on one of the removed pieces of plating. It's a Haven-Edge spy. We think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Pig looks at you nervously. Eshe cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up the briar? I could lie. I'm pretty sure Peak knows. But... which does bring up an interesting conundrum. Should I tell her? Or should I lie about it? I'm sure Peak knows. But maybe telling Eshe is not a good idea? Huh. I'm gonna be truthful though. Let's see how this turns out. I've seen this drone. Eshe frowns. Following you? I met its owner. Eshe pauses for a while, Peak looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper, Eshe says quietly. Tell them about Helen. You explain that you met with Helen at the cordon, and you tell Eshe and Peak about what she told you, that the Haven-Edge Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Eshe walks away in anger, and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? She paces in front of you. Haven-Edge are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it. The greater good of their work demands it, the wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. Should I say I didn't have a choice or she wants to help? I mean, that's the thing. I do think she wants to help, but at the same time, it's Haven-Edge. They have not been good this entire game. So why would I just assume now that they're good? I'm just gonna say I didn't have a choice. Pete cuts in. Listen to them, please, Eshe. They're with us. Pete glances between you two. What was the sleeper supposed to do? They were ambushed by this Helen. I only listened. Let me tell you something, sleeper, Eshe says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied or the process is compromised. Are you talking about your mother? My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I've seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it is toxic. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others, and those that do so at the cost of their humanity. Peek tries to cut in, but Eshe holds up a hand. Don't start, Peek. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Again, this brings me in kind of an odd situation because once again, I do believe Helen honestly wants to help, but I mean, it's having it. Again, they've been shit this entire game. You're alright. Eshe doesn't move for a moment. Then she lifts a hand to rub her temples. She goes to say something, then stops. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I will make the run, she yanks on the strap. No more distractions. Sleeper, Peek looks torn. You have to understand, this is personal for Eshe. I know. Peek looks away, then at Eshe. I don't know, Sleeper. I just don't know what to do. You glance around the bay of Briar, the walls seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peek. And what do you think, Sleeper? Peek rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I've completed all the missions, so yes, let's do it. Peek nods. Okay then, they squeeze your shoulder. Onward. They slip away to help Eshe, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Well, alright, here we are. I don't know how this is going to turn out in the end. I'm sure there's going to be chaos, pain, and sadness, but alas, here we are. So I guess with that being a thing, I guess I'll just get some scrap and stuff. There isn't a whole lot that I can do at the moment. Do I have any more upgrade? I'm guessing I don't because the thing doesn't pop out there. Oh, that used to be bugged before, so that's nice that they fixed that. Okay. And scrap is always nice to have. And that's a 4, but still. 5 is pretty good. Okay, so that leaves me with 12 scrap. No injuries. I can actually heal myself. So yeah, that puts me in a pretty good position going into the next turn. Alright, so once again, we feed the stray. And I will do some repairs to myself in the process. Three of these should do it. Okay, I'm in peak condition, so let's go ahead and rest. On to the next cycle. Okay, I have 3 really good dice and 2 not so great dice. Okay. I think we still have 1 more turn before things start going sideways. Correct? Yeah, we still got 1 more turn. So let me go ahead. I guess I'll get more scrap. And then after this, oh wait, let me sunbathe. I can use that 5 to sunbathe. I guess I can go ahead and do that up here, since there is a place for me to rest. Okay, so that completely heals me. Let's re-roll these. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I guess last but not least, because I think that's... Oh. Okay. I think that's... Yeah, that only gives me 1. So this would be a 50 positive, 50 neutral. And this would be the 25, 50, 25. I guess I'll see if there's some work down here. And if there's some actual work down here, then I can just do that and get some money. I think with that ship being gone, though, I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, Avenage offices. That's just the Yadigan stuff. Merchant freighter. I can haggle over prices, which would give me a discount for a ship mine fragment. I guess I could do that if I wanted to get the little achievement for that, but I think I've already gotten it because I did build a ship mine fragment in my other playthrough, so that's not something I should have to worry about. This gives me energy, this gives me cryo. Let's do this. Yeah, I'll take the cryo. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we're on the turn with the shitstorm. But is it the finale? I have no idea. So, in the cycle, shall we? Okay, 2 perfect dice, and the rest are kind of crap. She's gone, Sleeper. Peak is breathless and shaking. She started to run without us. Shit. Let's go if we head... let's go. If we head to the cordon now, Peak starts back up the corridor. They turn back. She has to make it, Sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Eshe, I hope you know what you're doing. Great. Great. Okay, let's run up here. I wonder how long it takes to actually get up there. Great. Have an itch. Wonderful. You arrive, frantic and anxious, at the cordon. Peak is nowhere to be seen. Then you hear footsteps hammering on the metal stairway Helen's drone led you through before, the one that leads up to the observation deck. You leap up the stairs 2 at a time and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Sleeper, Peak emerges from the light. She's just... I know she's trying to protect me, but... it's okay. She chose. But what about my choice, Sleeper? I'm not a child anymore. I can fight for myself. They turn away. There she is. Peak rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the climbing briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. You spot the climbing briar, a glint of blue and white, and beside it, the red glare of a tug's light. The tug's crew went with her. Peak smiles. I knew they'd keep their word. That'll help. Peak doesn't seem to hear you, but the idea of the crew backing Eshe up makes you smile. Maybe this thing will work. You watch as the briar and its tug escort arc down toward the edge of the cordon, demarcated by the red lights of the perimeter system. So far so good. The briar will just look like another refugee ship being escorted into the cordon, at least at a glance. Pete grips the rail as Eshe reaches the edge of the cordon, that invisible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Now let's hope the blind spot triggered. You think back to the mess of systems you had to wade through to set it up, the delicate contingencies you set up to trigger the sensor blackout at just the right moment. Without noise, without ceremony, the briar slides through the cordon. You await the flickering of alarm lights, the swarming of drones, but nothing. Just another cycle, just another ship. Eshe is in. Both you and Peak let out the breath you're holding and laugh. How does she do it? Peak smiles, shaking their head. We did it. Peak smiles wider. Yes, we did. They laugh. You feel a little shaky from the tension, but Peak's ease helps you settle. You imagine Eshe, steely-eyed in the pilot seat of the briar, searching for a place to dock. Maybe being stubborn has its advantages. You okay? Me? Peak sighs. I think that took years off my life, but I've got to hand it to Eshe. She was right. You and Peak turn back to the window, looking for the briar again amongst all those hulls. The calm fading as new worries settle in. You spot the briar first this time, docking with the largest of the flotilla's ships, a vast converted tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get that thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the briar, unable to get any sense of progress from its placid exterior. They will be offloading everything now, Peak says, both assuring you and themselves that everything is going to plan. You think of all the supplies loaded onto the briar and how long the process of unloading them might take. The bay was packed, rammed with everything you could offer, and the thought of bringing all that to the flotilla makes you smile. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome they'll give Eshe as the bearer of such gifts. You even imagine a smile from Eshe as she is showered with thanks. You focus on that as you watch the briar and continue the nervous wait for it to finish unloading. It's breaking off, Peak points at the briar, and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. Eshe must have ended things early, but why? Then you see them, the tugs closing in on the briar. Havenage must have spotted the ship. You and Peak are up against the window again, wheeling the briar a safe path out of the flotilla. Suddenly, the briar shifts in space, a blue blur between two hulls. Peak whistles. Look at that. They smile at you. Looks like those upgrades we put together work. They watch as Eshe cuts through the crowded flotilla, the tugs not daring to follow her dangerous path, and peeling away. It is hard to keep track of the briar, and suddenly both you and Peak are searching the black for a sign. Where has she gone? Then all of a sudden she is out, blue against the black, pulling away from the cordon on a wide arc back towards the station. A clean run. Peak cheers and smiles at you. We did it. She's out. They beam uncontrollably at you, the tension released. You find yourself smiling too, smiling at those two beautiful idiots and their beautiful ship. Then Peak is hugging you, squeezing you with all the nervous energy that had been building. Thank you, Sleeper. We did this together. They step back, still smiling. We did something. Come on. They rush out of the observation deck. Let's meet her. So I'm curious. I wonder if you would have failed any one of those, would it have failed the entire thing? Or could you fail one and maybe it would have still worked, but there would have been some issues or something? Not sure, but I am curious about that, so I might go back and play that and see how that pans out. Okay, and I got an upgrade point, but I only have one upgrade point, so I can't do a whole lot with that right now. I need 3 to do anything. So, let us see what Eshe is up to. You and Peak rush into the Briar, finding yourselves in the now empty bay. The change is a reminder of what you achieve, and looking around, you feel all the more satisfied. A hiss sounds at the far end of the bay, and Eshe enters, looking exhausted. Peak runs up to embrace her, but she sits down on the bay floor before they reach her. You did it. They sit beside her. Eshe, you were incredible. She smiles a small smile at this, laying her head on Peak's shoulder. You suddenly feel like you are intruding, seeing the two of them like this, quiet and content. Sleeper, Peak calls. Come on over. You cross the bay and sit beside them on the hard metal floor. Eshe, Peak asks, did you give the flotilla our chairs? They both burst out laughing at the ridiculousness of it all, at the exhaustion and the worry and everything else. You laugh too. It is impossible not to, and after a while, you all come to a stop, Peak wiping their eyes, and Eshe shaking her head. You would have loved to see it, Sleeper, Eshe says quietly. The welcome I got. They came to greet the ship once I docked, to offload the supplies. I told them I was coming, of course, as soon as I got inside the cordon, but there were so many. Children, families. They were smiling at me, shaking my hand. Soul was there too, Peak, and he's just as gruff as he sounds over comms, she smiles. They took it all, crate after crate, until the ship was emptied out. Eshe looks away. But there were so many, and even with everything we managed to bring, they needed more. They made me promise I would try to come back. Eshe, Peak shakes their head. You know we can't do that twice. Eshe stands up. What are we supposed to do? Wait for them to lift the quarantine? She's angry again, that familiar tension rising in her voice. Peak tries to pull her back down. Sit, Eshe. Rest. You've done enough for today. Don't, Peak. I know my limits. Eshe hardens. Okay, well, seeing as they didn't catch you, perhaps they will lift it. They know the flotilla poses no danger now, and if they can account for the extra load on the life support. Eshe walks away toward the ladder that leads up into the upper part of the ship. I need to rest, Peak. She holds up a hand. Sleeper. Then she limps up the ladder, step by painful step. I'm afraid if you were expecting a change in Eshe's demeanor, Peak smiles at you. It's okay. Let her rest. Peak nods. I think I need some rest too. They put a hand on your shoulder and get up from the floor. We couldn't have done this without you, Sleeper. And I know those in the flotilla would thank you too. Go rest. Peak limps up the ladder too, leaving you alone on the metal floor of the bay. Your thoughts drift to all those people on the flotilla, sleeping and sitting on metal floors like this. Children, families, playing in cargo bays and repurposed fuel tanks. You know their story isn't over yet, and you look forward to meeting them. The quarantine will lift. You feel more sure of this fact every moment, even though you aren't sure why. You lie back on the metal and stare at the ceiling. What was it Fing told you, Erlen said? The eye opens for us all? Maybe the old guy was right. A home for the lost. You like the idea of that. Maybe in time you can help make that a reality. But something is bothering you. A sliver of a thought like a splinter you can't extract. Why are thousands of refugees coming here now? People don't abandon their homes for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system, and when will it reach the eye? You shudder on the cold metal floor and get up. Something is coming. You can feel it. This isn't over. Alright, so is that the end of this? I am not certain, but I will continue for a little bit to see if that is the actual case. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run a couple turns and I will come back if something else happens. All right, so I did go ahead and go through 3 turns to make sure, but all I had to do was actually go all the way to the top up here, and it says it right here. Episode Flux is complete. Thank you for playing. The episodic story of the flotilla will continue in episode Refuge, or Refugee, coming October 2022. So we have that in a few months. That's what, 2 months away, 3 months away. So yeah. Well, 2 months away. So yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. But I did enjoy this. It's a nice little story to add to it, and it's more content to add to the game. But yeah, I'm really glad that we're starting to see more about Earl and Zai. We're starting to see more about the system in general, because I really did enjoy this game, and I do like I don't know, there's a sort of piece to it. I've actually been trying to find other games similar to this, but there's nothing that quite really fills that gap that this game really fills. And honestly, it's probably my favorite game, and probably my game of the year so far. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. But I will definitely be playing episode Refugee when it comes out in October. But for now, this is all from Erlen's Eye. So if you like the video, and if you would like to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel, and I will have many other things in the future. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section, and I will get to them as soon as I can. And if you have any game suggestions, also leave that in the comment section, and I'll check it out. If I feel like it's something that fits with the channel, then I will definitely give it a look-see, and I might even give it a play too. So just let me know. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.